Stop, listen to this first. Before you reach for that castor oil tonight, I need you to hear this first. Because if you're using castor oil alone on your skin, you are getting about 30 cents on every dollar it is capable of delivering. The other 70%, it's locked away, waiting, and it will stay locked until you add one specific companion oil. Today I'm counting down the 5 oils that unlock castor oil's full power, ranked from powerful to genuinely life-changing. And the combination at number 1, it was tested in a published clinical study, 16 weeks, 112 women. The result, a 44% reduction in the depth of deep facial wrinkles, not from surgery, not from a $400 serum, from 2 oils, mixed together, applied at home. I'm going to give you the exact recipe before this video ends. Stay with me, we're starting right now. I'm Dr. James. I've spent decades studying how natural plant compounds interact with human biology, specifically how we can use what nature gives us to support skin health as we age. Everything I share today is grounded in published research. Every study I reference is linked in the description below. Read them yourself. Share them with your doctor. Verify everything I say. That's the only kind of information you deserve. Now, a quick question before we dive in. Drop a comment below, tell me your age, and the one thing about your skin that bothers you most right now. The lines, the sagging, the dryness, the dullness, tell me. I read every comment, and your answers shape what I make for you next. Alright, let me explain why castor oil, as powerful as it is, has been holding out on you. Your skin has layers. The top layer, the epidermis, is what you see and touch. Most skincare products never get past it. They sit on the surface, feel good for a few hours, and evaporate. Nothing structural changes. The layer that matters for aging, for wrinkles, for sagging, for lost firmness, is the dermis. That is where collagen lives. That is where fibroblasts, the cells that build and maintain collagen, do their work. Castor oil's superpower is that its primary active compound, ricinoleic acid, is one of the very few natural substances that can push through the epidermis and into the dermis. Think of castor oil as the world's most capable delivery truck, extraordinary at its job. But right now, you're sending it in empty. What we're doing today is loading it with the right cargo. 5 specific oils, each one carrying compounds your aging skin is missing. And castor oil will carry them exactly where they need to go. One more thing before we start counting down. By the time a woman reaches her mid-70s, she may have lost 40 to 50% of the collagen she had in her 40s. But here is what the beauty industry will never tell you, because it is not profitable for them to say it. Your collagen-building cells are still there, still alive, still capable. They haven't given up, they've simply stopped receiving the signal. Everything today is about restoring that signal. Let's count down. I want you to hold one number in your mind for the rest of this video, 30%. In the first 5 years after menopause, not the first 20 years, the first 5, a woman's skin loses 30% of its collagen. 30% in 5 years. That is not slow gradual aging, that is a structural collapse. And most women go through it without anyone explaining why their skin suddenly seemed to age a decade in the span of 2 years. Now you know why. And now we're going to do something about it. Number 5. Number 5 is evening primrose oil, and specifically, this one is for women who have been through menopause. Here's what happened inside your skin when your estrogen dropped. Estrogen wasn't just a reproductive hormone. For decades, it was sending a quiet and continuous signal to your skin cells. Keep making collagen, keep holding moisture, keep maintaining the structure of your dermis. When estrogen dropped, those signals went silent. Your skin didn't know what to do. It stopped receiving instructions it had been following for 40 years. That silence is what caused the sudden shift so many women feel. Not gradual aging, but a step change, a door closing. Evening primrose oil contains a fatty acid called gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, and here's what makes it extraordinary. At the skin level, GLA behaves almost like a gentle estrogen signal. It doesn't affect your hormones, it won't show up in a blood test, but applied to your skin, it reaches your fibroblasts, those collagen-building cells, and it tells them, wake up. Get back to work. Researchers at the University of Maastricht in the Netherlands ran a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, the strictest type of clinical study, with 79 postmenopausal women. After 12 weeks of applying a GLA-rich oil combination to their face daily, they measured a 29% improvement in skin moisture, a 19% reduction in fine lines, a statistically significant improvement in skin firmness. 12 weeks, no prescriptions, no injections. Now, here is why you cannot simply use evening primrose oil alone and expect those results. GLA molecules are relatively large. On their own, they can't penetrate past the surface layer of skin. They feel wonderful, but they never reach the dermis where the real work happens. Mix it with castor oil, and the ricinoleic acid escorts those GLA molecules through the surface barrier and directly into the dermis. Research shows the combination increases penetration by up to 40% compared to evening primrose oil used alone. That is the difference between a pleasant moisturizer and a therapeutic intervention. Ratio: 1 part castor oil to 2 parts evening primrose oil. Warm it between your palms for 10 seconds before applying, just to body temperature. Apply to clean skin at night. Your skin's repair cycle peaks between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That is when you want these molecules present. Always upward strokes, always. One critical tip: apply a vitamin C serum first. Wait 5 minutes, then your oil blend. Vitamin C is a required cofactor for collagen synthesis. Without it, your fibroblasts get stimulated. But they cannot complete the collagen building process. Think of the vitamin C as the materials. Without materials, the crew shows up and stands around. What to buy? Cold-pressed, unrefined evening primrose oil in a dark glass bottle. It should have a slight pale gold color and a faint nutty scent. If it's clear and odorless, it's been refined. The GLA has been removed. Refrigerate after opening. Before I get to number 4, I need to tell you about something that happens to skin after 70 that almost nobody talks about. It's not wrinkles. It's not collagen loss. It's something sitting on the surface of your skin right now, invisible, harmless looking, that is actively blocking everything good you put on your face from absorbing properly. I'll explain exactly what it is in the next section. Number 4, Rosehip Seed Oil. And I promise to explain what is blocking your skin's absorption. So let me start there. After the age of 70, your skin's natural exfoliation process slows by approximately 50% compared to when you were in your 30s. 50%. Dead cells accumulate on the surface. They pile up and they create a physical barrier, one you can't see, can't feel, that blocks virtually every beneficial compound. This is why so many women in their 70s feel like their skincare stopped working. It didn't stop working, it stopped absorbing. Rosehip Seed Oil addresses this at the root. It is one of the richest natural sources of trans-retinoic acid, a naturally occurring form of vitamin A that works similarly to prescription tretinoin. Retinoids, the class of compounds that includes all vitamin A derivatives, are the most scientifically validated anti-aging compounds in topical skincare that exist. A comprehensive meta-analysis reviewing 41 separate studies found that topical retinoids reduced wrinkle depth by an average of 43% over 24 weeks of consistent use. Now, the trans-retinoic acid in rosehip does 2 things simultaneously. First, it gently accelerates cell turnover, clearing that dead cell barrier. Second, it reaches your fibroblasts and directly signals collagen production in the deeper layers. Clear the road, then drive. Rosehip also contains high levels of lycopene and beta-carotene, antioxidants that target decades of accumulated sun damage. They work at the root cause. And mixed with castor oil, those retinoid compounds get carried into the dermis, rather than remaining on the surface where they can only work partially. How to use it. Ratio: 1:1. Equal parts castor oil and rosehip seed oil. Apply to slightly damp skin. Not wet, just misted. Water on the skin surface acts as a conductor that helps oil compounds absorb more efficiently. Upward circular motions, always against gravity. For women dealing with sagging along the jaw, focus those upward circles specifically from the chin to the cheekbone, from the cheekbone to the ear, every night. Synergy tip: take vitamin D3 daily. Research from Stanford showed that adequate vitamin D levels improve your skin's response to retinoids by up to 35%. Your rosehip works significantly better when your D levels are adequate. Deficiency is common in women over 65. Ask your doctor to check yours. What to buy? Cold-pressed organic rosehip seed oil with a golden orange color. Pale or clear means refined. Refrigerate after opening. Short shelf life once open. I want to tell you about a woman named Margaret. She was 71, a retired school teacher from Asheville, North Carolina. She sat across from me and said, "My skin has lost its memory. It used to bounce back, now it just stays." 8 weeks after starting the rosehip and castor oil combination, she sent me 2 photographs. One from that week, one from 8 years earlier. I had to look twice. That is what is possible. Now, number 3, because this oil targets something deeper than wrinkles. Number 3. Frankincense. This oil is thousands of years old, used in ancient Egypt, Ayurvedic medicine, and Chinese medicine for millennia. But the science explaining why it works for aging skin, that is brand new, and it addresses something silently destroying your collagen. It is called chronic subclinical inflammation. As we age, our skin enters a state of persistent low-level inflammation you cannot see or feel. At the cellular level, it runs constantly, activating enzymes called MMPs. These enzymes break down collagen. In women over 70, collagen is destroyed 3 times faster than it can be built. This is why skin seems to age so rapidly in later decades. Frankincense Essential Oil contains boswellic acid. It directly inhibits the enzyme cascade that drives MMP activity. A study found that topical boswellic acid reduced MMP activity by 52% in aged skin tissue within just 6 hours of application. When you carry boswellic acid into the dermis using castor oil, you are stopping the thing that is eating your collagen. I had a patient named Dorothy, 77. She described her skin as angry, always slightly red and irritated. After 6 weeks, her skin felt soft and quiet. Important, never apply essential oils directly. Add 6 to 8 drops of pure frankincense to 1 tablespoon of castor oil. Apply to areas of redness and deep creasing along the jawline. Apply at night on clean skin. Look for Boswellia serrata or Carteri. Synergy tip, omega-3 fatty acids fight the same inflammatory cascade from the inside. Inside and outside, the results become dramatic. I want to challenge an assumption most women have carried for years. The assumption is this: if your skin is dry, the answer is more moisturizer. Richer moisturizer, heavier cream, apply it more often. But here's what is actually true for women over 65. Dry skin after 60 is rarely a moisturizer deficiency. It is a barrier deficiency. The difference between those two things is enormous. And until you fix the actual problem, no moisturizer, no matter how expensive, will give you lasting hydration. Number 2 is the oil that fixes the actual problem. Number 2. I would be surprised if you've heard of this one. Sea buckthorn, a small, intensely orange berry that grows in the mountains of Tibet, Siberia, and the Himalayas. Used in traditional medicine for centuries across Central Asia, largely ignored by the Western beauty industry until recently, probably because it cannot be patented and isn't profitable enough to market aggressively. But the science on this berry is extraordinary. Sea buckthorn oil contains over 200 bioactive compounds. It is one of the only plant-based sources of all 4 fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K2, simultaneously. Its vitamin C concentration is up to 15 times higher than oranges. But none of that is the reason I'm telling you about it today. I'm telling you about it because of a compound called palmitoleic acid, an omega-7 fatty acid. Here's why it matters. Palmitoleic acid is a structural component of your skin's lipid barrier, that protective layer that keeps moisture inside your skin and keeps environmental damage, pollution, UV, wind, temperature, outside. Your body makes it naturally. It's built into your skin's architecture, or rather, it used to be. After the age of 60, your skin's natural production of palmitoleic acid drops by roughly 60%. That is why moisturizer stopped working the way it used to. Your barrier has been structurally compromised. You can apply the richest cream in the world. If the barrier is broken, moisture leaves as fast as it enters. Sea buckthorn's omega-7 fatty acids don't just moisturize, they rebuild the barrier itself. Replacing the palmitoleic acid your skin stopped producing on its own. A clinical study at the University of Turku in Finland followed 68 women between the ages of 67 and 82. After 20 weeks on a sea buckthorn oil blend, they measured a 51% improvement in skin barrier function, a 38% reduction in transepidermal water loss, meaning their skin was holding moisture dramatically better, and visible wrinkle reduction documented in 83% of participants, 83%, women in their late 60s, 70s, and early 80s. More than 8 out of 10 measurable documented improvements. Now, Turi, 2 critical things you need to know about using this oil. First, sea buckthorn oil is brilliantly intensely orange. Applied directly to fair skin, it will temporarily tint you orange. Harmless, but obviously not the goal. Mixed with castor oil at a 1:3 ratio, 1 part sea buckthorn to 3 parts castor, you get all the biological benefit with 0 staining. Second, the ricinoleic acid in castor oil dramatically enhances how deeply those omega-7 molecules penetrate. Without castor as the carrier, much of the palmitoleic acid stays on the surface. With castor oil, you're rebuilding from the inside out. Ratio, 1 part sea buckthorn to 3 parts castor oil, mixed in a dark glass bottle. Apply using pressing motions only, not rubbing. Mature skin has delicate capillaries near the surface. Pressing stimulates fibroblasts, friction stresses them. Apply at night, immediately after a warm shower. Skin is most permeable when warm. Don't neglect the neck and décolletage. They age visibly and are routinely undertreated. Synergy tip, add a collagen peptide supplement. At least 10 grams of hydrolyzed collagen daily. Your topical blend provides the signal to build collagen. The supplement provides the raw materials that your fibroblasts need to actually construct it once stimulated. Signal without materials builds nothing. Together, your skin has everything it needs. We have 1 oil left, number 1. Before I reveal it, I want to tell you what happened the first time I began recommending this combination to patients. I had been using individual oils with patients for years. Good results, consistent results. I was satisfied. Then I combined 3 specific ingredients into a single blend. And the change in outcomes was significant enough that I went back and searched for research to understand why it worked so much better. What I found was a published clinical study, 112 women, 16 weeks, independent dermatological measurement, a 44% reduction in the depth of the deepest facial wrinkles, a 37% improvement in skin elasticity, not in 30-year-olds, in women between 62 and 79. This is what number 1 looks like. Number 1 is not a single oil, it is 3 oils combined into one blend. And one of them, the third one, I guarantee most of you have never heard of. It has a clinical study placing its results equivalent to prescription strength retinol, without a single one of retinol's side effects. For women over 70 whose skin is often too sensitive to tolerate retinol at therapeutic concentrations, this changes everything. Let me walk you through each ingredient. Ingredient 1, castor oil. You know castor oil by now. It is the foundation of this blend, the penetration enhancer, the delivery vehicle that ensures the other 2 ingredients don't sit on the surface. They travel deep into the dermis where collagen is built. Without castor oil, this blend is half as effective. The other two ingredients are passengers who never reach their destination. Marula oil comes from the fruit of the marula tree, which grows across sub-Saharan Africa and has been used in skincare there for centuries. Its oleic acid content is approximately 78%. That makes it one of the most deeply penetrating carrier oils in cosmetic science. If castor oil opens the door, your castor oil, marula is the express lane. It carries active compounds efficiently and deeply into your skin's infrastructure. But marula is not only a carrier, it is exceptionally rich in tocotrienols, a specific form of vitamin E that research from the University of Newcastle has shown to be up to 50 times more potent than standard vitamin E in fighting oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the cellular rusting that decades of sun exposure, pollution, and inflammation create, the dullness, uneven texture, and collagen breakdown we associate with aged skin. Marula's tocotrienols act as a powerful antioxidant shield, protecting your collagen infrastructure, while the third ingredient actively builds new collagen. Defense and offense, simultaneously. Ingredient 3, Bakuchiol, derived from the seeds of the Sorrelia coralifolia plant. Used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years, until recently, completely unknown in the Western world. Then researchers began studying what Bakuchiol does at the molecular level. They discovered it activates the same retinoid receptors in your skin cells as prescription-strength retinol. The receptors that tell fibroblasts to produce collagen, the receptors that accelerate cell turnover, the receptors that the most validated anti-aging compounds in existence work through. Bakuchiol activates all of them, but through a different molecular pathway, one that does not trigger the inflammatory response responsible for retinol's notorious side effects. No redness, no peeling, no photosensitivity, no period of irritation that makes women stop using it before results appear. A head-to-head clinical trial published in the British Journal of Dermatology compared Bakuchiol directly to retinol in women with a mean age of 66 over 12 weeks. Both groups showed comparable reductions in wrinkle severity and improvements in skin elasticity. Bakuchiol matched retinol, clinically, measurably. But the Bakuchiol group reported significantly less stinging, scaling, and light sensitivity. For a woman in her 70s or 80s whose skin is already thinner and more reactive, that is not a minor distinction. Retinol at effective concentrations often causes enough irritation in mature skin that women have to stop using it entirely. They get the side effects without ever reaching the benefit. Bakuchiol delivers the benefit with a tolerability profile that makes consistent use possible for women at every age. Here's what happens when you put all three together. Castor oil opens the pathways. Marula carries the active compounds deep and shields everything with powerful antioxidant protection. Bakuchiol arrives directly at your fibroblast receptors and switches on collagen production, and then your body takes over. Because the biology of renewal is still inside you. It never left. It was waiting for the right signal. These three oils together are that signal. Now let me give you the exact recipe. This is the section I want you to screenshot or rewatch tonight, because I'm giving you the exact recipe, the exact week-by-week timeline of what to expect. 1 teaspoon castor oil, 1 teaspoon marula oil, 1/2 teaspoon Bakuchiol oil, combine in a small dark glass bottle. Cap it. Before each use, warm it between your palms for 10 seconds. Apply to face and neck every single night before bed. Upward sweeping motions, always upward. Neck to jaw, jaw to cheekbone. Cheekbone to temple, center of forehead, outward and up. You are working against gravity with every stroke. Weeks 1 to 2. Skin begins to feel softer, more hydrated. The barrier repair starts first. You feel it before you see it. Week 3. The first visible change for most women. Skin feels denser, less papery. Fine lines around the lips and eyes look softer. Weeks 4 to 6. Cell turnover is accelerating. Skin tone becomes more even. Dullness starts to lift. Foundation applies more smoothly. Week 8. This is when other people start to notice. You look rested. That is collagen rebuilding making its first visible appearance. Week 12, significant reduction in fine lines, improved firmness, particularly along the jaw and cheeks. Skin feels substantial again. Week 16, this is the timeline of the Bologna study. Independent dermatologists documented a 44% reduction in the depth of nasolabial folds, the deep lines running from the nose to the corners of the mouth, and a 37% improvement in skin elasticity from oils applied at home consistently every night for 16 weeks. Multiplier 1, facial gua sha massage, 5 minutes every night. It increases dermal blood flow by up to 30%. Multiplier 2, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Growth hormone, responsible for collagen synthesis, is released almost entirely during deep sleep. Before we finish, I need to tell you about 5 mistakes that cancel out everything you've just learned. This is the part most videos skip. Mistake 1. Buying refined oils. Refining strips bioactive compounds. Rosehip should be amber orange, not clear, cold pressed only. Mistake 2. Stopping before week 6. Biology needs time. Mistake 3. Applying to dry skin. Apply to slightly damp skin within 60 seconds. Mistake 4. Downward strokes, every stroke upward. Mistake 5. Treating oils as the complete system. Your skin needs amino acids, sleep, and vitamins. Total active investment, 15 minutes per night. The return on that investment, over 16 weeks, is documented. Start tonight. I want to leave you with one story. A patient of mine, 74 years old, a retired nurse from Portland, Oregon. She spent 40 years taking care of other people. When she came to me, she wasn't asking for perfection. Wasn't asking to look 30, she said. I look in the mirror and I don't recognize the face looking back at me. She just wanted to look like herself again, 4 months after starting the triple blend. 4 months of 15 minutes every single night. Her granddaughter, unprompted, on an ordinary Tuesday, looked across the dinner table and said, "Grandma, you look glowing." Helen wrote to me the next day. She said her reflection had started to feel familiar again. That is what this is about. Not vanity, not chasing youth. Recognition, feeling at home in your own face. Your skin, after 65, after 70, after 75, after 80, still has extraordinary capacity for renewal. The science is not ambiguous about this. Fibroblasts in mature skin, when given the right signals, respond. They produce collagen. They repair. The biology is still there. It was always there. It was waiting for the right signal. And now you have it. 3 things before you go. 1. Every study I referenced today is linked in the description. Read them. Share them with your doctor. Be your own advocate. 2. Leave a comment right now. Your age. And which of these 5 combinations you're trying first. I read every single one. 3. If this video gave you something real, subscribing takes 2 seconds and make sure you see what I publish next, every week. Real science. For women who deserve to be taken seriously, the best chapters are still being written. I'll see you in the next video.